Hey guys, Ike here from IkesOutdoors.com. Today I'm going to show you the archery tools that I have and the way that I use them. This is what you're going to need to do your own work. And it's basically, there's a lot of tools out there. These are the ones that over the years of doing this I've found that I use the most. They're actually worth buying, that you're going to use a bunch and you're not going to waste your time with a bunch of crap that you're not going to need. And what I've got here, I've got mine in a bag. I just picked this bag up at Walmart in a tool. It's a tool bag is what it is. And you can go cheaper than this, but I saw this one Realtree and just thought it was really cool. And it really does serve well for what I'm doing. You can do this with any toolbox. You don't have to have a Realtree bag or anything like that. You can do it with a bench, a desk, just anything to keep your tools in, like you would any tools that you're going to use for any different job. The tools that I'm gonna show you here today, you can pick them up at various places on the internet. Mom and pop shops usually don't sell them for the simple fact of you know, it's inventory that if they keep on the shelf, it's going to encourage you to do their work instead of bringing it to them. Bass Pro, Cabela's, big places like that, Lancaster Archery, they're going to have stuff like this you're going to be able to buy. But I've had a real hard time finding this kind of stuff at your local mom and pop shops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera up here and really focus in on the bag rather than me, and just kind of be off camera and show you what I carry in this bag and why. And the reason I carry mine in a tool bag like this is because I do work here. I do work out in my shop. Sometimes I do work, you know, at my job. I take my bag to work and work on people's bows for them there. Or, you know, I'll go on a trip. All I gotta do is grab this bag and I can throw it in there and I have everything I need. So I'm gonna switch the camera up now and show you guys, you know, get a little bit more focused on this bag and show you guys what I carry in here. Okay, so we're just gonna start out on this side. I'm gonna show you what I got. I bought this toolbox and then I bought this one, this Plano double-sided box over in the fishing department at Walmart. Great little box for keeping small stuff in and things like that. So I'm going to pop this thing open here, show you what we got in here. First thing I carry in here is I've got a variety of different inserts of course, for my arrows, as well as some arrows that other people use. Pretty common. I've got gold tip stuff, you know, your standard size carbon arrows. I've got some gold tip series 22s in here and some deer crossing stuff that I use. So I've got a wide variety of inserts in here that I can put and replace for other people's bows or other people's arrows. Same way on nocks, I've got a ton of different nocks in here. I've got some for gold tip, got some for deer crossing, some for Easton, all kinds of different nocks in here. So if I need to replace a nock on someone's arrows or my own, I can just go in here, I can find the appropriate nock and put it in there. And I go to one of my local archery shops and just buy these things by the dozens just to have them. I mean, you never know when you're going to need to replace those things. Also in here, I've got 4 or 5 different colors of D-loop material. D-loop material, I use a bunch of it. I ordered it. You know, I got pink, red, orange, black. A lot of people use black, and a lot of people like black, but I like either the bright orange, the bright pink, or white, just for the simple fact of it makes it easier to see it in the dark and easier to get a good hookup in a low light situation. So I keep a variety of colors, and it's just a BC wide D-loop material, and I think I ordered it from 60X. He's got some really good prices on his stuff. So I keep a couple feet of each color in there of D-loop material. On this side, I've got some stuff in here. There's some stuff in here that you're not going to need too, but I like to keep it around. I've got a wide variety of field points. I've got 100 grain, I've got 75, and I've got 125. And everybody uses 100 grain. You know, my wife uses 75 grain, and on my heavier arrows, I use 125 grain. So I've got a wide variety of those, and I've got a wide variety of different styles and different diameters. And you can tell some of these have been around for quite a while. So I've got those in there as well, just for other people and in case we need them. I've also got a variety of peep sights in here. I've got 2 or 3 different kinds of peep sights in here in case I need to replace one for somebody. I've also got knocking points in there. So the old brass knocking points. I've got kisser buttons in there just in case I need those. I've also got the black rings to install kisser buttons just in case somebody loses a kisser button and needs a new one replaced. Silicone grease. I've got just a small container here of silicone grease that if I want to put it on some bolts or something like that, I've got it. If something's kind of getting rusty, you know, I can take it out, I can put a little bit of that on there, and I can put it back in there. I've also got some sight lights. These are just, I had them laying around. I like to keep them where I can find them. A couple different varieties of sight lights. Couple different kinds of threads on them. Some have a coarse thread, some have a fine thread. I need to get some batteries for them, and I'll also start keeping the batteries in here as well. Q-tips, just for getting in and cleaning stuff, cleaning arrows, cleaning gunk, you know, on cams and stuff like that, just for getting in there and doing some cleaning. Now, what I use the most out of this box is these bolts right here and these right here. And I'll get a thread size for you and put right here on the bottom of the screen so I'm not telling you wrong. But these are the bolts that you're going to use for installing sights and some other accessories like quivers and things like that. And these are the bolts that you're going to use to install rests. Now, these I went down and got at Fastenal with absolutely no problem. I just walked in, they had them, and I brought a different kind of them. I got a pan head, I got a button head, I've got a stainless steel. I've got several different varieties of those. And so most of them are new, some of them are used, but I like to keep a variety of different kinds of heads on those and different styles. Stainless steel are always nice to have, but and I've got a variety of different kinds of lengths. Now, like I said, those are pretty easy to find. I walked right into Fastenal here and found those. And I'll get you the size of those so you guys can pick some of those up. Now, these are a little bit odd. These, I believe, are, we'll put the size down here because I don't want to tell you wrong. But I tried to get these from Fastenal, couldn't get them. Tried to get them to order some, they couldn't even order some. I looked online and tried to find them and had a really hard time finding them. I did finally end up finding some that I needed, but I ordered them from an archery wholesaler. I ordered them from Papes. So, excuse me again, these are the rests, or these are for installing rests, and they are pretty hard to come by, so I keep a lot of them. I keep a few of them handy and try to hang on to those as much as possible. So that's what I keep in this box. That's just basically my hardware and small items that I use. Put that back in here and just start showing you some of the stuff in here and what we use it for. So we're going to start right over here. Razor blade, box cutter, whatever you want to call it. I like to keep one of these in here. And I've got a blade in here. You can see this blade's rusty because this blade's pretty old. I like to keep a dull one and a sharp one in here. I like to have a dull one for when I'm cutting around. I don't mean so dull it won't cut, but I like to keep one in there that's fairly dull. I don't want it to be super sharp for when I'm cutting serving off. You know, because I don't want a super sharp blade next to my string trying to cut that serving. I want to really have to kind of work to get that cut. I don't want it so dull that I have to really push on it. So there's a fine line there, but I don't want it razor sharp, so when I touch the string it cuts it. So I keep a dull one in there, and also in the body of here I've got some brand new ones that are razor sharp. And so I use this for cutting off serving, use this for cutting off veins off of arrows, and just, you know, other things like that. So I always like to have one of those in there. Cigarette lighter or matches. Comes in pretty handy whenever you get done tying off your serving or tying off your D-loop. You can use a cigarette lighter and burn the end of that and get you a nice little melted area there. Keep that from untying. I've also got just a deal of string snot in here for waxing up strings. I always do that whenever I'm working on anyone's bow. When I'm done with it, I usually just take some of that string snot and put on there just to keep it waxed. Waxing your string is about the best thing you can do for your bow. Also, I've got a Winchester Archery center shot tool in here. You get this when you buy a Winchester bow. They're kind of handy to have around because if they'll fit into onto the shelf of your bow, it kind of gives you an idea of a pretty good idea of where the center shot is. So it doesn't work on every bow, but I keep one in my bag. It's not something that you're going to be able to go out and buy, and probably not something that you're going to need, but I got a couple of them and I keep them in there. This is a neat string server, and you can see it's a pretty basic little tool, just a little piece of hard plastic. And what this is for separating your two different strands of string. You can see back here, you know, we got a red, or I'm sorry, we got a white and a brown here. And whenever I get this bow pressed and I want to separate it, I can just use that. I can slide it right in the center of the string like that, and I can actually turn it just like that, and I can open up the string. And from time to time, I have used this without the bow being pressed. And if I've got a peep sight in there and I want to remove another peep sight, I can slide it up in there, turn it. Usually I can pop the peep sight out and put the new one in, and then turn it back and not have to press the bow. These two tools here go pretty much hand in hand. What this is I've got a set of needle nose pliers, and I've also got a D-loop stretcher here. Needle nose pliers you can use for, there's quite a few different reasons you're going to use this, but mainly what I'm doing with this is when I tie a D-loop, I can actually take and say I'm going to tie a D-loop here. I can actually put this in there in the D-loop and force it in just slowly and actually stretch that D-loop out, and then open up those jaws and stretch it out so that I can get this stretcher in there, because you can see this stretcher is kind of big, so when you first tie your D-loop it's kind of small and it's kind of hard to get in there, so that's what I use those for. This tool here, you slide it in there, got your D-loop knot on each side, you put your D-loop right in there, open that up, and it stretches your D-loop out. These are if you're going to be tying D-loops, these are a must-have tool. I mean, you're gonna need to get that D-loop stretched out. Maybe not this particular brand, but you got to have something like this. You can also take these to a grinder and put a notch in there, and you can really open it up like that. I don't like that because you get that in there, and I have cut some D-loops before by doing that. You just can't get it smooth enough inside of there usually. So that's for tying your D-loops, and those three tools right there are pretty much a must-have if you're going to do your own work. They make it really, really handy. So next side of the bag here, we got a set of knocking pliers, which is another one of the tools. It's kind of outdated, but I still use them quite a bit. This is a pretty good set. You can use these for removing and installing knocks. You can also use them for removing and installing the little black rings that go around kisser buttons and lock them into place. So even though we don't use knocks a whole lot anymore, I still use those quite a bit. Set of scissors for cutting D-loop material, for cutting into your serving. Good sharp pair of scissors, it always comes in handy. These are a set of Hemostats that I got in the fishing department. I don't use these a whole lot. These are something you could probably definitely go without, but it makes it nice when you're tying a knot and you need to get something, you need to do something, you don't want to walk away from the knot because you got tension on it. You know, I do it all the time. I don't have what I need right there to finish out the knot. You can take these, you can put them on there, and it'll hold the tension on the knot, and you can do what you need to do and then take them off. You can also use them for holding if you're going to tie on cat whiskers, which is what traditionally they were used for. But again, cat whiskers is kind of outdated. You can put the cat whiskers on your string, put these on top of cat whiskers, lock them into place, and then tie your cat whiskers in. So those are handy, but not necessarily something you're going to have. Same way with the scissors. They're kind of handy, but not something you're necessarily going to have, especially if you have the razor blade on the other side. I've got a couple metallic markers here. You don't have to have metallic. I just picked these up. Actually just had them here, and they work really well. You're going to need a marker for when you're marking certain things on your string, your D-loop location, your center shot, and where your peep sight goes and stuff like that. And you don't want black, because most strings are going to be black, and black's not going to show up. So I got a purple and a gray, and they work pretty well. So you're probably going to need something black and red. Black doesn't work. Red, you can kind of see it on there, but there's a lot of strings out there that have red in them too. So I go with something that's kind of off kilter, you know, gray and purple. Don't see that a whole lot. Next set I've got here is I've got just a set of Allen wrenches. These go from a 1/16 up to 7/32, and with these sizes, you can pretty much do anything you want to do. You know, your 1/16, you can work on small things like rests and the little footballs that comes with rests, and the 7/32 is the size that you're going to need, or I'm sorry, the 3/16 is the size that you're going to need to adjust most, the poundage on most bows and install rests on most bows. Now you get into some of the Bowtechs and stuff like that, they've got larger limb bolts, so you got to have a larger Allen wrench. But I keep that one because it's handy, and I also have this one right here. This is one made by Cobalt, picked it up at Lowe's. Pretty handy little set. You know, you got your L-shaped wrenches there, and you also have this piece right here, which is basically a handle. You can take your wrench, or your Allen wrench, and you can either slide it in the end to give yourself some leverage, or you can actually, it's got a slot here, you can actually slide it into this slot and use it like a T-handle. So a couple different options there on that, and this is made by Cobalt, and I just recently picked this up, and I tell you what, for some of the limb bolts out there, some limb bolts out there are very, very hard to move, and they're very hard to adjust the poundage on, and it's nice to have that T-handle on there just to give you a little bit of extra leverage. Now, if you've got to really crank on it, then you probably got a problem, and you need to probably replace that limb bolt. But if it's just something like this answer, the bottom one on this answer, it just kind of sticks a little bit, and I don't know why, but it just kind of does. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with the threads on it or anything like that, but it's nice to have that T-handle on there so that you can get a little extra leverage. So let's get into the inside of this bag now. So you definitely need a set of Allen wrenches. You may not need this set right here, but you're definitely going to need this set right here. Allen wrenches are pretty much the go-to tool when it comes to doing your own archery work. You're going to need a set of Allen wrenches. So I'm going to start pulling stuff out of the inside here and showing to you guys. Got a tape measure. Tape measures are really handy for measuring, well, for measuring just in general, but they're really handy for measuring brace height, axle to axle. You can use them to measure your center shot. You know, you can use them for quite a few different things when it comes to archery. I highly recommend you having one of those. This tool right here is something that you're probably not going to need, but it makes it really, really handy if you're going to be replacing inserts and using super glue or something you have to heat up. If you're going to be using something you have to heat up, it's going to get pretty hot. Super glue, you got to get them in there pretty quick. Basically, this is just a wooden handle. We've got a steel rod here, and on the end, it's been turned down, and then it's been threaded, and the inserts will thread right onto the end of this, and you can use this to put inserts into your arrow. Inserts, when you're using super glue to put inserts in, they'll get stuck about halfway. So it's nice to have this to have some leverage to force them on in there. It's nice to have this, like I said again, when you're heating up stuff, which you don't do that much anymore, but used to back in the day when you were shooting a lot of aluminum arrows. You heated up the glue, and it's nice to have this so you could keep your hands away from the heated area. So that's not necessarily a have-to kind of thing, but it is pretty nice. This tool here is another one of those have-to kind of things. You can eyeball it, but this makes it sure a heck of a lot easier. And what this is an arrow square. When you're setting up your rest, I'm off camera here. So just imagine that this is your rest. This will pop on your string right just like that. When you're lining up your rest, you can line this up with your burger holes and move your rest up to there. Also shows you where your D-loop needs to be. This is made by BPI. This is the SQ1. There's a ton of them out there. I like this one. Works pretty well, but they make a ton of different ones, and they're all pretty handy and pretty easy to use. So it's just a bow square is all it's called, and one of the tools that you're really going to be probably needing to have. You can eyeball it, but that makes it a heck of a lot easier and a heck of a lot better. If you're going to be doing your own work, this is probably a must-have too. Maybe not this particular model. I got this one just because it fits in my bag and it's easiest to show you guys. This is the Synonym bow press. This is a portable bow press. I use it quite a bit here in this office. Yeah, I'm not going to unfold it because that's the only drawback I really have on this press is it works really good, but these ropes can get tangled up and it can becomes a pain in the butt. But a bow press is essential if you're going to be doing your own work, installing peep sights, changing strings, just doing a variety of different things. This is a nice press. It's fairly affordable compared to some of the other presses out there. I use it quite a bit when it comes to doing work here in my office. I've got a big press out in my shop that I use for other things, but this one is pretty handy to have, and for a bag like this where I'm on the go, or for a guy just starting out, this would make a really good press for you to have and just to kind of keep, especially if you're limited on space. My press takes up quite a bit of space. These two things here are both scales, and this one here it's just a portable grain scale. You can pick both these up on eBay or Amazon really, really cheap. All this is here is for measuring grain weight on your field points, your arrows, and things like that. And this one here, this is probably a must-have. They're really, really cheap. All I did too in this part here was it came with some arrow rest I had, glued it down to the center, and then when I put my arrow on there, it cradles it so it can't roll off. But you need to know how much your arrow weighs, and because you don't want to be under 5 grains per pound. So it's really nice to have to know what your arrow weighs. And just like on the other side of my small toolbox, I had field points. This you can use to measure your field points and know exactly what they weigh. So really, really handy tool, and probably another must-have. I think I picked this up less than $10. I mean, this thing, and I've used it. You can tell by looking at it. I've used it quite a bit over the years. This here it's just a portable scale. I've got a big scale out in my shop, but this one here, it's pretty nice. I picked it up here recently for less than 15 bucks off of Amazon. It goes up to 110 pounds. It's just got a deal here so I can hang it, and it's got a hook on the bottom. I can put my bowstring in there, and I can actually just pull this thing down there and get my peak weight. It doesn't hold the peak weight, so you got to be looking at it, but it works fairly well. It's also got a tape measure on the side of it just in case you need that. But this is just for measuring the poundage on your bow, and works pretty well for that, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. And like I said, I picked that up off of Amazon for less than 15 bucks. Both of those are must-have tools. You need those to measure certain things on your bows. Next thing I got in here is the different kind of glues that I use. I got a 2-part epoxy. This is a 5-minute quick set epoxy. Pretty nice for putting in inserts. I like it. It doesn't set up immediately, but it does set up pretty quickly, and it gives you a good strong bond. And that's what I really like to put in my inserts. I've also got Gorilla Glue in here. Gorilla Glue is nice for putting in inserts and stuff like that. If you get an insert that doesn't quite fit, because Gorilla Glue will expand and it holds really well. So Gorilla Glue comes in handy. I do glue some inserts and stuff like that in with it. But you don't necessarily have to the Gorilla Glue. Of the two, I recommend the 2-part epoxy. If you're going to go out and just buy one, buy the 2-part epoxy. The Gorilla Glue, like you can see, I haven't even opened it yet. It does come in pretty handy from time to time, but not necessarily a have-to product. The 5-minute epoxy is, if you're going to be putting in your own inserts and stuff like that, is pretty much a have-to product. The next thing here is just Loctite super glue. I like this because it's gel. It's got the control to it. You just squeeze the sides. This is what I like to use. I can glue in inserts with it if I have to, but I prefer the 2-part epoxy for that. But if I need to fix a vein or refletch an arrow, I've got that. And like I said, if I need to pick an arrow up, put an insert in it, and shoot it 5 minutes from now, this is what I'm going to use because it does set up that quick. So it's a pretty nice little product to have. And over all the years of trying different stuff, I like this because the gel is a little bit easier to manage, and because it's got the sides, the squeeze deals on the side, it doesn't just come running out everywhere. So those are the kind of glues that I have, and you're going to see a ton of different glues out there made by archery companies. This is the same stuff. You know, I got into Walmart and bought this stuff for like $3. Don't fall into that hype because it's made by Easton or made by this company or that company that it's a better kind of glue, because it's not necessarily. This stuff here is affordable at Walmart. It's easy to get at Walmart. You don't have to order it. You don't have to go to a pro shop and get it. And these two are a must-have, and they are definitely going to be easier. Don't worry about getting them from an archery company. These are easy to get at any local store, and they don't have to say Easton or something like that on them for you to be effective on your archery equipment. Next thing I got in here is just, this is the last pocket I've got here. I've got some paracord just for random little stuff. You know, paracord's awesome. You can never go wrong having paracord. I've also got some serving in here, and serving's fairly expensive. You know, you get a bunch of it though. You can see how old this is, and I've got 100 yards of it. 100 yards of serving is going to last you a long time, but it's like 20 bucks a roll. I've got 3 rolls in here. You can see the red is just about I'm just about to use the last of it, and then I've also got just a black and white speckled in here. I've got the red and the green because at some point I ordered them because I had a red string and I wanted red serving, or green because I wanted green serving, you know. But the colored servings, like I said, these are pretty expensive rolls. Once again, these are just BCY loop or serving material. This one here is made by Brownell. It's a number 4. I'm not sure what this one here is. It's .018, and it's called Diamond Black. And all 3 of them are different sizes. And like I said, if you're gonna go out and just buy one, and you're gonna be just serving your peep sight in or something like that, then go out and buy 1 roll and just buy black or whatever color you want. But buy 1 roll. It's going to last you a long time. 20 bucks seems like a lot to spend on one of these, but you can see how long I've had these things for years. I mean, I've used them a ton of different. You get a lot of use out of them. So go out and buy you 1 roll. And I like this .018. That just seems to work really well for everything. You get into some different kind of servings. You're going to see different sizes of servings out there, and you get different sizes of servings for serving different things on your string. Like around your peep sight, you know, you got one size that works really good, and around your cams, you want something a little bit thicker. If you do some center serving and you go with something real thin like this red stuff, your knocks aren't gonna grab hold very well. So you want something a little bit thicker. So if you're going to go out and you're going to be doing peep sights and you're going to be serving your own strings and doing different stuff like that, then you may want a range and a variety of these. But if you're just going to be doing your peep sights, serving a rest, you know, the rope on your rest or something like that, then just pick you up kind of a medium range one, something in the middle, and it's going to last you a long time. Serving is another must-have if you're going to be doing your own work. So serving is going to come into play quite a bit. The last thing we got here is this is something you probably don't need. This is just I bought this when I was working at a shop, and it come in handy. This is just a BCY polyester braided rope, and what I use this for is just for rests, you know, drop away rests, just pulling out. Their ropes get frayed, or the pull cords on them get frayed and needing replaced. I use this to replace them. A lot of people use the same stuff, the D-loop material, like we got up here. But I'll tell you what, that stuff's expensive, and I don't need pink or orange or black or white or whatever on my bow. So when I'm working on a rest, you know, this is what I use to put on there. Not necessarily a must-have, but it is fairly affordable. For 100 foot of it, it's going to last you a long time. If you want to replace if you need to work on your rest, it's good to have. And again, once again, this is just a BCY material. BCY makes pretty much everything string rope that I've used in here. The D-loop material, the serving material, and the rest rope, and BCY. Go to their website. They've got a ton of different stuff, and they can show each one has a specific use and a specific purpose on your bow. Just be sure, if you got any questions, to call them up and ask them, because you don't want to be using this in place of D-loop stuff, because if you try to pull it back, it's going to break. And D-loop material, it's really good, it's really expensive. So if you don't want to be using it for your rests, then you need to buy this stuff. So call BCY up, tell them what you're doing, and ask them what you need. So I know this has been a long video. It has to be because my throat's hurting already. A lot of stuff in here. Hopefully I covered everything. This is what I use. With this bag I can tear your bow down and I can rebuild it. I can do pretty much any repair work that I need to with the tools that are in this bag. And like I said, some of the tools in here are must-have tools. Some of them are just nice to have. But every tool in here is in here for a reason, and it's in here because at some point I needed it, and I needed it enough times to think I better have it and better carry it with me. The must-have tools, I think, again, are an Allen wrenches. You got to have a good set of Allen wrenches. Replacement bolts for your sights and your rest. You got to have those. D-loop material is another must-have. The D-loop stretchers, the string stretcher is a must-have. Knocking pliers is a pretty one you're going to use quite a bit, and your bow square and your bow press. Those are all ones that you're going to have if you're going to be doing your own work. And of course, glue and your serving material. So I hope this didn't get too confusing, but I hope this kind of gives you an idea of the tools that you need to do the different kind of work that you're going to be doing. For more product reviews, how-to videos, check out our website, ikesoutdoors.com. Appreciate you guys watching.